The directions given in this problem should look familiar from when we did law of sines and cosines. And everything we use then really just stays the same. It's just thinking about it as a vector. So a ship sails off to set sail 30 miles on a bearing of north 22 degrees east. So remember, that means we draw a little compass. North is up top, east to the right. It's north 22 degrees to the east. That means the 22, remember, always goes to the north-south line. And says he sails 30 miles on that bearing. Now it says, however, the current pushes the ship 15 miles off course on a bearing of south 48 degrees east. Now while that's happening on the whole path, here's where we use that vector addition. We just go to the end of the first vector, draw ourselves our little compass, and we'll put this second force on here. So it's pushing it 15 miles on a bearing of southeast. So south 48 degrees towards the east. And remember, the 48 then goes towards the north-south line, so towards that south. We now want to find, and that was 15 miles. So now it says we want to find the ship's resultant velocity, meaning we want to find the speed and bearing that the ship actually traveled. Remember, the resultant is what takes you from start to finish. So we started over here. We finished. Here's our end. So the resultant is that vector that goes from beginning to end. So we want to find everything about the ship's resultant velocity, which means we want both the distance of that vector and we want the bearing of that vector. So we're going to need to find the length. And then we're also going to need to find what this angle is in here so that we can figure out what that entire bearing will be. So we have that angle. So now's where we have to use what we remember from when we did all these bearing problems before. So remember, north-south lines are parallel. So since we have this 22 degree angle right in here, we also know this is 22 degrees up top, which means we can use this full angle in here, and that gives us a side angle side, which at this point you should know takes you to law of cosines. And then to find this little purple angle, that'll end up taking you to law of sines. So from this point you should have it set up and you should be good to go to find both the distance and what the bearing of the ship would be.